So the Jacksonville Jaguars will be traveling up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks this Sunday on Halloween, after the Seattle Seahawks just lost their third consecutive game on Monday Night Football versus the New Orleans Saints. The Jaguars are looking to get their second win in a row after getting their first win of the brand new Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence era over in London versus the Miami Dolphins. So when I do these preview videos, you guys know that I love to talk about the opponents first, some good things I like about the team, some bad things, and where I think the Jags can attack them. But something I do want to point out though with the Seattle Seahawks before I dive right into that is the fact that we all know Russell Wilson, their MVP-like quarterback, is not there. So that means Geno Smith has been the quarterback the last couple of weeks, and he struggled a bit even though he's had his moments. Don't quote me, but I believe that Nick Foles is going to get traded to the Seattle Seahawks before the NFL trade deadline on November 2nd. I'm calling it right now. But let's actually hop right into the Seattle Seahawks side of things. So as I alluded to earlier, Seattle's on a 3-game losing skid right now. They're sitting at last place in the NFC West. And I really thought that this Saints game was a game that for the Seattle Seahawks to go out there and win. But Geno Smith, after his 84-yard touchdown to DK Metcalf early in the first quarter, only had 83 yards the rest of the game. Seattle has struggled mightily to get Geno Smith going and the rest of this offense. As I said, they're last in the NFC West, and it's looking like their playoff hopes are out of the window if they lose to Jacksonville this weekend. Their defense has allowed over 414 yards per game, which is 31st in the NFL. Jacksonville not doing too much better, sitting at number 30. But Seattle has some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. But Seattle's really just struggled on both sides of the ball, even when you've got elite playmakers and guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And you've got Chris Carson coming out of the backfield still. Gerald Everett's a very solid tight end. This offense has just struggled, and obviously you can credit that to the fact that they don't have Russell Wilson. Seattle definitely needs to go in there and take care of business and beat Jacksonville if they even want to have an opportunity in the NFC West with Russell Wilson coming back, because he's clearly the savior of this team. And it's very evident just how important Russell Wilson is to this team, not just because Geno Smith is out, but you see it even when Russell Wilson is healthy, how electrifying this guy is and how he's always in the MVP conversation. Seattle is 0-3 at home, though. They're 2-2 on the road. They have yet to win a game this year at home. So Jacksonville's looking to bounce back, coming off of a bye week where they're getting some guys back off injury like Tyson Campbell and Myles Jack on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to look to come in there and get a second consecutive win after feeling good coming off that bye week. Now let me transition into the Jaguars side of things. Trevor Lawrence, ever since that Thursday primetime night football game versus the Cincinnati Bengals, has played phenomenal. Trevor Lawrence, as we speak, 1,465 yards, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He has struggled, to put it none the least, when you look at the stats just for what they are. But when you look at his stats from that Bengals game up to now, coming out of the bye week, Trevor Lawrence has played phenomenal. You see the progression in his game. He's gotten better every time. He's taking more onus of the offense. He's getting more comfortable in the offense. And also, he's just getting more continuity within his receivers with guys like Marvin Jones Jr., Laviska Shenault, Jamal Agnew. You see the trust and the bond that these guys have together. And it's very evident that Darrell Bevell's allowing Trevor Lawrence to use his legs, allow him to get out of the pocket, and just let him be more aware of his situation. And that's something that Trevor Lawrence has done very good at. I expect him to continue to do that, especially because Seattle's defense has tended to struggle. Then that moves me on to the rushing part of the offense. James Robinson has done phenomenal this year, to say none the least. James Robinson, you need to keep pounding him the ball, keep giving him the rock. The Jaguars are number 2 in the NFL in rushing yards per attempt, 5.2, just behind Cleveland at 5.3. Credit that to James Robinson and the offensive line playing a lot better this year, even though the O-line is a little banged up with guys like Andrew Norwell. Ben Barch is still questionable to return. Brandon Linder's on IR. AJ Cann is very questionable to return. Or actually, AJ Cann's out for a couple more weeks. Point is, the offensive line has still played great no matter who's been in there. And then the Jaguars on the defensive side of the ball, I pray that they can get it together versus a Geno Smith offense. DK Metcalf, the last 4 weeks, has been the leading receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, but he's yet to even hit over 100 yards in each of those 4 games. I think if Shaq Griffin, who's returning his game back to Seattle, can play cornerback number 1 and play great as he's been playing all year, and just, limit DK Metcalf, because you can't just stop DK Metcalf. That's going to be huge for this defense. The pass rush needs to get home to a guy like Geno Smith, who's not the greatest quarterback in the world, with guys like Josh Allen, Kayvon Chason, Jaheed Ward, Roy Robertson Harrison. These guys need to get in there, take home the quarterback, and take him down, because the Jags defense has only had 8 sacks on the year. The Jags defense only has 2 takeaways on this season from guys like Nevin Lawson and Andrew Wingard. Who would have thought those 2 guys would have had the 2 lone takeaways for the Jaguars on defense. Get some takeaways, get some sacks in there, and the Jags defense just needs to go in there and create some energy. This is a very winnable game for both teams. Obviously, Pete Carroll being the Super Bowl winning coach, very experienced guy, versus Urban Meyer, who's coming into a situation where he's going into a rough environment over in Seattle. Even though they don't have Russell Wilson, you can't take away what Seattle does with that 12th man and that home crowd out there, even though they've yet to win a home game. Very winnable game for both teams. You know, I'm actually picking Jacksonville to win this game. You know, this is a very Jacksonville type of game to lose, where all us Jag fans are getting all riled up and we feel great after coming off that win, especially coming off a bye week when now you can game plan. Heading into Seattle, guys are well rested. Miles Jack and Tyson Campbell are coming back off injury. This should definitely be a game that the Jags should go in there and win, but this is also a very Jaguars-like game to lose. I expect the Jaguars to go in there and win this game. I expect the Jags to heavily go in there and dominate this game because of the time of possession. I believe that the James Robinson and this rushing offense can get going and also just keep this defense off of the field, keep those guys fresh. I expect the Jags to go in there and win this game 27-16. You know, I do think that Geno Smith and this offense will go in there, probably get a touchdown or 2, but I expect the Jags to go in there and take care of business. But I do expect the Jaguars to go on the road and take care of business and get their 2nd consecutive win of the season. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys like, turn on notifications, and hit that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jacksonville Jaguars and NBA content that I do here on YouTube as well. But Jags Nation, Bold City 904, Duval, baby. It's Brett James, a.k.a. BJ. I'm out, y'all. Peace!